Yes, Mrs Justice Yip has now, as expected, lifted those reporting restrictions which prevented us from identifying those two killers, and we now can tell you that they are Scarlett Jenkinson and Eddie Ratcliffe, both of them 16 years old, and as we heard during the course of the trial, two people who had planned the murder of Brianna Ghey for a long period of time before it was carried out in February of last year. We can tell you a little bit about the two of them. Scarlett Jenkinson actually was a schoolmate of Brianna Ghey. She had become friends with her at her school, Birchwood High School. Only in the weeks before the killing took place, she'd actually been transferred from another school because of some issues she'd had at that other school, and became friends with Brianna because Brianna had an unusual timetable. She was taught in a thing called an inclusion room. She had a different timetable because some of the challenges she had a one-to-one teacher. She arrived later at school, went home earlier. And because Scarlett Jenkinson had been moved to that school, they spent time together in that inclusion room. And the school has said they became friends. It wasn't a close friendship, but that's where they got to know each other for about that 10-week period before the murder took place. In fact, Scarlett Jenkinson was due, the school wanted to return her to her previous school because she'd not been very good at timekeeping. Discussions were going on at the time of the murder about returning her to her school, her original school, but no meeting had actually been possible to be arranged with her parents to enable that to happen. The head teacher of that school describing Scarlett Jenkinson as shy, polite and quiet. Someone who on social media posted pictures of pets, discussions of pets, but some issues certainly in her previous schooling. And as we know during the course of the trial, the fact that she was living a very different life online, accessing the dark web, talking to others about her obsession with torture videos and with serial killers, as we saw during the course of the trial. So that is Scarlett Jenkinson. Eddie Ratcliffe, again, according to those who knew him, no outward signs of anything that would lead anyone to believe what would happen actually could take place. Someone who's completed his GCSEs since being inside the secure unit where he's been held, is working on his A-levels. Someone who's a very keen kickboxer. In fact, had competed in the World Kickboxing Champions as a junior in Jamaica a number of years ago. But again, nothing in his outward world that would suggest anything untoward. There is a lot that has come out during this trial about the relationship between Scarlett Jenkinson and Eddie Ratcliffe. Of course, they'd known each other since they were 11 years old. They're both now 16. They were close, although they rarely met in person. It was a relationship that was conducted largely online through messages, the police describing them as very warped individuals who hid these obsessions that they had with torture, killing, weapons that they could buy to carry out those killings, discussed that online, and also discovered ways that they could cover their tracks and not be detected. But all along, the police have said they came from very stable, loving homes, no police involvement with either of them before what happened to Brianna, described as intelligent, high-functioning individuals, perhaps leading to some arrogance in some sense that they thought they wouldn't be caught, and that they killed and had this thirst for killing in a way to prove that they could kill. That was the police belief behind their motivation for this. But there we are. We can now report Scarlett Jenkinson and Eddie Ratcliffe are those two 16-year-olds who killed Brianna Ghey in such a brutal fashion in February last year, and they will be sentenced for that murder in the coming hours.